3 more videos. 3 more videos. I can make 3 more videos. 3 more videos. And I can go on break. Just gotta get through this first one. Alright. Hello everyone, if you don't know who I am, well, then you can call me Ari, and man, it's been a while since you guys have seen this tired face. Well, get used to it because we have 3 more videos. 3 more videos and then I'm done. I can go on break. I cannot wait to go on break. But for right now, the end of 2017 is approaching us, which means it is time for your inboxes to be flooded with all of those top 10, top 11, top whatever videos. So today I'm about to tell you guys the top 7 comics that I have read in 2017 that impressed me the most, that I can wholeheartedly recommend to you all, and that you guys will hopefully check out. And why 7? Well, that's because I literally could not fucking come up with 10 comics. It's been a slow year for me. I've been flat broke for months. Seriously, you want to know how shitty of a year it's been for me as a comic fan with no money? I still haven't read Patriotica or Batman White Knight. It hasn't been good at all. But my money problems do not matter. What matters are these 7 comics, manga, webcomics, whatever that I have read this year that I thought were incredibly impressive and really stuck with me throughout the year, and I really recommend to all of you. Now, really quickly, just for a bit of housekeeping, none of the comics on this list had to have come out in 2017. I just have to have read them in 2017. Second, this list is in no particular order, so just because you see a comic ahead of another one doesn't mean that you should prioritize reading that one first. All of these comics are just here on this list because I really love them, and I really want you guys to maybe consider checking them out and supporting the creator, except for the top 2 comics. The top 2 comics definitely are the best comics that I've read this year. So I guess we should get started now, but first I have just a few honorable mentions. Comics that I've read this year that I thought were really good, but didn't quite make the cut for me to give a full and wholehearted recommendation on. So here we go. I'm gonna change position now because I completely forgot to do it earlier in this video. I'm smart. Honorable mention goes to a webcomic called Lamine. This is a really cute webcomic about a really cute little werewolf boy who's actually a pretty rare breed of his kind, and the very cold, closed-off young man who's about his age that he's hired to protect as his bodyguard. The main character, Lamine, is what really makes this comic and what really keeps me coming back. He's clumsy, he's shy, but he's honest and earnest and just wants to do his job and protect himself. And the boy that he's looking after, although very cold, you can tell that the kid does have some pretty good intentions. He just doesn't know how to express himself. Unfortunately, it did go hiatus, which set it back by about a month or 2. So far, it's gearing up to be a story about friendship and trying to grow stronger and better yourself through the people that you know. I really enjoy it. It's adorable as all hell. The author actually made this comic once before, but decided to scrap and rewrite the comic, which is super brave, and I probably would never have the balls to do that unless it's for a redraw. So definitely check it out, show her some love. It's online webtoons, which means it is for 100% free, and if it sounds like it's for you, then I recommend it. Next honorable mention goes to a comic that I just enjoyed from panel goddamn 1 called I Hate Wrong Hand. I Hate Fairyland, published by Image Comics. This fucking comic, man. I'm a pretty cynical bitch, and I'm not a big fan of fairy tales. I cannot stand happy endings where it's just handed to you and you didn't really in a way earn a happy ending. I do not like positive and optimistic characters, and I just love the dark stuff. I love twisted stuff. I love seeing fictional people fucking suffer. That's what I'm trying to say. If this fucking comic doesn't speak to my goddamn soul, I don't know what else does. I plan on covering this comic more in the future. I'm only on issue 6 right now, so I gotta get a lot more issues, or at least pick up the volumes. And unfortunately, I had to go on with this video, but I'm going to say this. I totally recommend this comic if you want to see a little green-haired girl with a foul mouth go around and just fucking destroy everything that is happiness, sunshine, and rainbows in just a bloody and gruesome manner. In issue 1, she kills the moon. She murders the moon and you can see his blood and his guts and everything, and it is beautiful! And just like that, you learned a little bit more about me. You probably don't want to be my friend anymore, do you? Check it out. You can buy it on Image's websites. You can buy it in your comic book shop. Honorable mention goes to another comic called The Wicked and the Divine, a comic about the Greek gods who return to Earth for 2 years as pop stars. They are loved, they are hated, and soon they will be dead. This comic is honestly way more complex than you think it would be. I've read tons of stories, comics, novels about the Greek gods, and this one is the most interesting yet because it doesn't want to find an easy way out. it doesn't want to just take the normal route. It makes sure to give newfound personalities to the Greek gods, people that we know the mythos and the legends of. And they're also not very good people. They're freaking pop stars, and pop stars love partying and drugs and women and all that other stuff. And god damn it, those fucking cliffhangers, man. Really check it out. It's a very interesting story. It's definitely a very complex story with complex characters. If you're into stories about the Greek gods and you just want to see a new take on them, pick this one up because it is definitely worth it. Honorable mention goes to My Giant Nerd Boyfriend. This is a comic that I've already made a bite-sized video about, so I'm not going to say much about it other than I really enjoy this comic for how comfortable it is and how it stands out from other autobiographical slice-of-life webcomics or comics in general by just being very grounded and down-to-earth and genuine. How it's not trying to make you laugh or force you to laugh with how hashtag relatable it is. And it's just a very heartwarming and welcoming comic. Like I said, I've already made a bite-sized video on this. Go check that out and maybe check out the comic if it interests you as well. Honorable mention goes to The Lady and Her Butler. I already made a bite-sized video on this one as well that blew the fuck up, and I have no idea how or why. But go check out that bite-sized video because I gotta get on with this list, and I'm just going to say I would totally put this on the main list if I wasn't fucking broke. Because goddamn it, I miss this comic so much. And the final honorable mention goes to a webcomic online webtoons called Adventures of God. Yes, it is exactly what it sounds like. And I do plan on covering this webcomic one day, but until then I will say this. I really enjoyed and was super impressed by this comic with how non-biased it was. It's not trying to push an agenda. It's not trying to shame anyone. It's just a comic about, hey, God has its flaws. The Bible has its flaws. Let's point them out and laugh at them. And it's funny as hell because of it. And if you just want to know, the creators of the comic, one is Catholic, one is agnostic. So there you go. Check it out. Not sure why that information matters, but there you go. All right. On to the main list. I am excited. For the number 7 spot, I am giving it to Fujoshi Trapped in a Perfect Sei's Body, Volumes 1 and 2. I know. I know. I kind of hate myself too, but guys, I fucking love these comics. I very much enjoy the works of the Yaoi Army, and they honestly hold a special place in the heart of this channel because these comics were the first subject of the first episode of talking about comics, and it was also the beginning of me uploading regularly onto this channel. So without these comics, there wouldn't be a Call Me Ari here making videos about comics and anime, and yet here I am. But I am not including these because of favoritism. I am not including these because without them I wouldn't be uploading on this channel as frequently. I'm including these because I really do fucking love these comics. As a Fujoshi, this comic was made for me. As a Fujoshi, all of the Yaoi Army's comics are made for me, but this one is definitely my favorite. This comic has a lot of things that I really love and enjoy in comics. It has a simple story. It has very likable and relatable characters. The main character, Misa, who eventually turns into Misaki, is the most relatable and enjoyable Fujoshi character that I have ever seen. It has a healthy dose of dark humor in here as well. And most importantly, something that I really love for comics to do is that it isn't afraid to be what it is. It can be dark, it can be cringy, it can be nothing but sex. It doesn't care. All it cares about is, hey, are you a Fujoshi? Do you like yaoi? Do you want to see guys fuck? Here's a comic for you. And that's why I'm including it onto this list. Unfortunately, this comic is very alienating. It's only meant for hardcore Fujoshi who really enjoy yaoi, not like baby Fujoshi who's just getting started. No, it's only meant for Fujoshi who wants to see some gay fucking with uncensored dick, and that's why you should read it. Well, along with other things. But I've already made a full video on it, so I don't want to be here for long talking about it. There are other comics on this list. I'm going to leave a link to where you can read this comic along with every other comic in this list down in the description below so that you can buy the physical copies or try the free sample on Webtoons or Taptastic. Currently 3 volumes along with the side story Wedding Night, along with several other works from the Yaoi Army. At least I think volume 3 is out. I don't know. I'm broke. I need more money. I just... Stop putting out fucking stories! Just... Seru, do a girl a favor. Stop putting out stories. Because I can't keep up. I'm trying to review all your work. And I can't do it because I'm broke. Okay, so just... Please just slow the fuck down! Number 6 goes to a webcomic called The Vapors by Ben Saint. And this comic goes on this list because of how much it really resonated with me and how it can resonate with other people as well. The comic is a one-shot about two college kids, a girl and a boy, who are fucking losers, basically. That's literally how the comic describes itself. A comic about pathetic losers. The main lead, Vincent, is pretty much an elitist in his own head. He does all of these things to basically elevate himself and make him seem smarter, and he's also kind of horny, can't score a girl. And the main female lead, Mag, is pretty much the character that I relate to the most. She's an introvert who's just in college just to be in fucking college. She doesn't go to class. She's too scared to leave her room. She's incredibly anxious and depressed. And she plays most of her time playing video games and drawing. And that's pretty much a reflection of my day-to-day life right there. I basically read this comic a lot just to take comfort in the fact that there's other losers out there like me. Of something that I know very well, but I often forget from time to time. And once again, I very much relate to the character Mag. There's a scene at the end of the comic where she's drawing and her depression and her anxiety takes over and she turns into another person and she ends up destroying all of her drawings. Something that I have done before. Just so little pages. Look at this. Just so little pages because I tore all of them out. This is like years of drawing gone. I only have 2 drawings left in here that I didn't tear out because I inked them and I just didn't want to throw them away. So yeah, I'm a depressing fuck. My life sucks, and this comic resonates with me for that reason. I often find myself reading this comic over and over and over again and seeing these people, one of which who are worse than me with Vincent and his fucking bullshit, and you just go, well, I don't know. I really don't know. It's just something that I take solace in, and that's the reason why I'm putting it on this list. It's a comic about sad, pathetic, disgusting nerds, and you should read it because of that. So check it out if you want to. Link down there. You know how it goes. Alright, getting out of depressing stuff. Number 5 goes to Paper Girls. Thank you, Devin. Thank you so much for introducing me to this comic. This comic is a very heartfelt love letter to the 80s and 80s sci-fi, and is also very tasteful with its nostalgia as well. The comic is about 4 girls who are paper girls. They are on a paper route, and every morning they throw the newspaper at people's door. But one day, the first day that all of them come together and meet, they come across a very strange man with some very strange technology, and all of a sudden, the world is ending. Creatures and monsters from the future are entering their timeline, and for some reason there are people in uniform that are chasing after them and they have no idea why. This is a fast-paced, action-packed sci-fi comic about 4 girls just trying to survive, trying to fix their timeline, go back home, and just figure out what the hell is going on. I've only read a volume of this and I'm in love with it. I love how tasteful it is with its nostalgia. I love how strong the characters are and how they're also very flawed, how they feel like real people growing up in that era. But most importantly, I love how it's not a cash grab, but it feels like a bit of a send-off. This is a love letter to the 80s and 80s sci-fi and 80s nostalgia, but it's also in its way, I feel like it's trying to say goodbye. Goodbye to the NES, goodbye to 80s sci-fi, goodbye to so many of the things that made that time where the creators were growing up in that time. Of course, it doesn't romanticize the 80s. It does show a lot of the flaws and how messed up those times were. But it does what it does by crafting a very interesting story with very interesting characters. I would very much love to see this get adapted into animation or live action, but unfortunately, Stranger Things is a thing that exists. Paper Girls doesn't borrow from 80s sci-fi movies like Stranger Things does. Instead, it feels more like it wants to make its own 80s sci-fi movie while once again saying goodbye to that era. I do very much so plan on covering this comic in the future. I just need to catch up like a lot more, and you can buy it and read it right now. I highly recommend it. It's pretty far along as well, so yeah, go check it out. Do it now. Number 4, if you know me, you've been subscribed to a while, you saw this coming, Melvina's Therapy. I love this comic. I love this comic. I love this comic. I love this comic. I love this comic so freaking much. Oh my god. This is the only horror comic that I actively anticipate, that I actively keep up with, that I just eat up with every new episode that's published on Webtoons. I love this comic. I love this comic so much. I made a full Talking About Comics episode on this, and so I can't really say a lot that I didn't say in that video, but I will say this. I love this comic for the symbolism. I love this comic for how dark it is. I love this comic for how it doesn't spoon feed you. I love this comic for how beautiful the artwork is. I love this comic for how most of the time there is no easy way out. I love this comic for how the creator puts his own thoughts and his own feelings into these stories so that he can try and craft messages and morals into them. And I don't know where it's going. I don't know what this is. I don't know what it's doing. What the fuck are you doing, Melvina? Why won't you just tell us, please, God? I hope it never ends. I really do. I really do. I never want this to end. There are times where I'm just like, Melvina, you keep doing you. I'm gonna scream and I'm gonna cry and I'm gonna yell. I'm going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? But at the same time, never go away. Keep doing you. Keep fucking shit up. Because that's just how damn entertaining this comic is. It's dark. It's horrific. It actively gives me nightmares. It's fucking beautiful and you should read it. Like I said, already made a full Talking About Comics episode on this, so I can't say a lot of things that I already said in that video. But check this out. Go read it right now if you're looking for a really good horror webcomic with also a lot of Easter eggs and nods to horror media in general. And as someone who isn't a fan of horror, as someone who isn't a fan of being scared, you know I fucking love this comic where I just gushed over it twice in 2 separate videos. So just go check it out, man. It's for free. Show the author some love, please. He needs it. He has a Patreon. Read it. Please read it. Number 3 is They Say I Was Born a King's Daughter, and you've probably seen this comic around because it is actually the #1 bestseller on Taptastic, and I finally got around to reading it. The comic is about a young South Korean woman who's never really had friends. She's never really had people in her life that she could find support in, that she could really look up to, that she could find solace in, until she meets and marries her husband, a man who loves her for who she is. And for the first time in her life, she's happy. But one day, on her way home from work, when she's going to have dinner with her husband, the love of her life, she's murdered by a stalker who claims to have always been in love with him. And when she opens her eyes again, she's a baby, she wakes up in a brand new world, and she quickly figures out that she's been reincarnated, but for some reason she has all of her memories, and this world that she's in isn't quite the best. The alternate world where she wakes up in is very discriminatory and sexist towards women. This is because the world is ran on magic, and women cannot produce magic or magic energy at all. And because women are not able to use magic, they are seen as useless and powerless compared to that of a man who's actually able to use magic and to help keep the world turning. So women are widely regarded to just being childbearers or sometimes housekeepers, and because of that, they are very much abused. They can be witnessed to murder and nobody will listen to them. They can be raped and nobody will listen to them. And our main character is very lucky because she was born as a princess inside the safety of the castle's walls. And because she was reincarnated with all of her memories, she believes that she was sent to this world to try and change it and give a better life towards women everywhere. And unfortunately, she has to do that by first surviving in this world and acting like a dumb princess. This means that she cannot go against the words of her brother or her scumbag father, the king, a very powerful king, mind you, who literally fucking kicks her away when she's a toddler, and she has to pretty much obey to everything that they want from her and try and win their favor by just being a cute little girl. What makes the story so interesting isn't just the intelligence of our main character, who actually has a leg up in this world because they do not have concepts in their world that we have in this world, but it's the fact that this story is largely that of survival. Our main character can be murdered by one of her brothers and they would not get punished for it. She has to do things that are degrading and humiliating towards her in order to survive and try and change the world and give better lives to all the women everywhere. And we see her actively break. We see her want to just shut down and cry. We see her just want to end everything and say, this is stupid, this is useless, and this isn't going to go anywhere. Yet she keeps doing it because she's on her own mission. And it's that courage that she has that really makes the story. When the entire world is against her, she puts on this cute fake little smile and she goes, I have to fight because I have to make things better. And it just sucks so much that normal family values, things like calling your big brother, things like giving your father a hug or going on trips, is seen as a big milestone, a big step forward, a big accomplishment for this main character. Seriously, when the main character finally achieves something, I'm just like, hey baby! It's addictive, man. It gets ya. Every time she gets a little bit further, it's just like, gotta read more, gotta see what she does next, and it's worth it. Buy the coins, buy the comic. Go read it, please. It's super interesting. I'm gonna cover it one day. Don't know when, but it's gonna happen. If like the day it ends, it's the day I cover it. Okay, top 2, my best comics of the year. My number 2 spot goes to a one-shot manga called My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness. I'm not fucking kidding when I say an average day of my life consists of me being horny, hungry, tired, and pissed off. This manga is 80% of my life in a single volume. I'm not kidding. You want to see my life? You want to see how I live? You want to see my thought process? Read this. I'm not kidding. This is my life. This is my life illustrated. The only difference here is how the author / main character, because this is an autobiography, is how she discovers her sexuality, and the whole part about her hiring a prostitute just so that she can not feel lonely, which is actually the story of this comic. Like I said 5 seconds ago, this is an autobiography about the author who decided that she would hire a lesbian prostitute to have sex with her. This was because she was incredibly lonely. When this comic took place, the author was 28 years old. She had no confidence in herself. She had no direction in her life, and she never had sex. She was largely asexual. She spent a lot of her time being depressed and anxious. She developed eating disorder. She just really hated herself, and god damn it, I know how everything in this fucking manga feels. But she gets to a point where she's tired of feeling useless and worthless, and she just wants to love herself for the first time in her life. So she discovers that the first step was taking care of herself, and after she puts in some time and investment into taking care of herself, she discovers her sexuality and how she's actually gay. And after she discovers her sexuality, she thinks that in order to overcome her loneliness, she needs to have sex. But unfortunately, she has no friends, no girlfriend, no social skills, so she's like, okay, I'm gonna hire a lesbian prostitute. This comic honestly didn't hurt me as much to read, and I should be sobbing over this story because of how much of my life it is, my depressing, shitty as fuck life, and yet I never cried once. I never shed a goddamn tear. And this manga is also incredibly honest. The author holds no bars here. She says, hey, this is how I feel. This is what's going through my head. I'm going to jot it down and put it all over the goddamn internet, and then pretty soon it's going to become an actual manga, and then pretty soon it's going to come overseas, and then pretty soon a fucking American girl is going to read it and make a video on it, which once again, I'm gonna make a video on this. I promise. I was going to do this when the sequel manga came out, which, by the way, 7 Seas, the people that published this manga, they did in fact license the sequel manga, My Solo Exchange Diary, and it's gonna be out in June, 1 year after they released this one. I was going to talk about this alongside with that one, but it honestly can't wait. Read this manga. Doesn't matter if you're gay, doesn't matter if you're depressed as fuck. Check it out because it's honest. It's a realistic depiction of what it's like to be depressed, of what it's like to be anxious, of what it's like to be lonely, and the fucking hell and implications that comes with that, and how important it is to try and take care of yourself and love yourself, and to also learn from the author's mistakes. I honestly love this manga a lot, and I plan on saying more when I cover it. So if you see it in your bookstore, you can buy it on Amazon. No, don't buy it on Amazon. Please don't fucking buy it on Amazon. Amazon is fucking horrible. Alright, here we go. Best comic of the year. My number 1 comic, the best comic that I've read this year, is Blood Bank. Yeah, I know, the fucking webcomic about kinky vampire sex beat out the number 1 bestseller on tabs in a realistic depiction of loneliness and depression and anxiety. My life. I know that you hate me, and I honestly hate myself, and I am going to tell you why I love this comic and why I think it's my best comic of the year in the next video, because I'm fucking tired. I have to edit this shit. I fucking knew I was gonna be recording this for an hour because I always trip over my goddamn words. So you're gonna have to wait for the next video. Until then, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you check out the links down below. Hope you consider supporting the comics. Subscribe to the channel to watch the next 2 videos, my last videos of the year. I also have more videos talking about comics and some about anime coming up as well. Follow me on Twitter at CallMeAriNS, where you can talk to me. I'm a pretty okay person, I guess. And you can also keep up to date with how the process of these videos are coming along. Until then, my name is Ari, and I'll see you in the video where I talk about why I love this fucking webcomic about gay vampire sex. It's not because I'm a Fujoshi, I swear.